Diverse Founders Perspective, the podcast, episode 2.
So, welcome to Diverse Founders Perspective, the podcast where we celebrate the bold, the brilliant, and the diverse entrepreneurs reshaping industries. This is a space where underrepresented voices shine and founders of color share what it really takes to build impactful ventures in a world not always built for them. Today's guest is a change maker and a community builder. We are sitting down with the brilliant Stephen Burrell, the Vice President of Brotherhood for Professionals of Color, an organization dedicated to empowering, connecting, and mentoring professional men of color in Denmark and beyond. So whatever fuels your genius, coffee, tea, or that Mr. Green smoothie you don't even question anymore, sip on that, because today we are not just sipping tea, we are brewing brilliance and pouring perspective. The Brotherhood begins. How Brotherhood Professionals of Color came about. Welcome to the show, Stephen.
Hello, and thank you very much, Rebecca, for the invitation. And that's a wonderful intro you've got there. And thank you for the description.
Well,
How
that's
beautiful.
nice having you. Let's dive in. What sparked the creation of Brotherhood Professionals of Color?
What's
Was
the
it
creation?
a personal experience for you guys, or did you see a missing space that you guys felt that was needed?
Well, I have to first of all say that it's not me who started it. I'm just somebody who got involved very, very early. I'll say that maybe number two. The number one, it's a very funny story, is that I normally cycle in Copenhagen, and the person, Joseph, who found or was the founder of BPOC, as we call ourselves, he normally drives. So this is like a serendipity moment where we both met each other on the walk from Port Station to Maersk, where he was working, and Amelia where I was going. And this is, I mean, the normal thing, which maybe doesn't happen so often nowadays, is two people of color walk in the same direction and decide to have a conversation. And this conversation was about the fact that what is missing in Denmark. And I've lived in Denmark for many, many years. I've lived here for 28 years now today. But he had only been here at that stage, I guess, for 7 years or so. And he felt as though there was something missing. And then he spoke to me about an organization called the Professional Women of Color, and that he wanted to start a male version.
Okay.
And that was the conversation that we had moving forward. A few months. Then we sat down and we spoke, and he told me, and yeah, it evolved from there. So I could say that for him, or his perspective, he felt as though there was a gap in the market. I didn't know until I met him that there were so many people of color living in Denmark. I have to be honest, because I've been in my protected bubble of Danes and Brits and all sorts of people who basically don't look like me. You know, I've been navigating this space for many, many years, quite comfortably.
Yeah.
And then he's used to a whole new world. So I thank him, and I thought this was my opportunity to give back, because
Yeah.
I know how to navigate in these spaces. I know how to play in this playground, as they say, and yeah, that's how it started. It's a quite interesting combination.
Yeah. That's powerful though. Like helping create the space you knew, like you guys knew that it it was needed, and at the same time it was challenging. How was it? Was it challenging for you guys to get it off the ground?
Well, I think that we've got. I mean, to be honest, like anything else in life, is that there is a need, there is a demand, and when you can see a need and demand, and then you have a network, then you have a network of first of all, Joseph's from West Africa, he's from Ghana. I'm from South London via Jamaican parents, but we both look alike and we've got similar values. There's other members of the board as well. But what we found is though, if we can spread the word and put on things which are of interest, then other people will spread the word. I mean, my background, I've worked in sales and marketing for many, many years. I understand branding, understand that how you build movements, how you build communities. I understand that. I've been creating spaces for people who don't look like me for many, many years. So this is the first time I've actually worked on something with people who look like me. And that's kind of rewarding for me, because I think about what are you leaving behind?
Yeah.
And whatever we can say, BPOC will never be forgotten. The things that we've done will never be forgotten in Denmark.
Yeah. Wow. I like that. So let's go deeper into identity and belonging. What does professional success look like when you're constantly code switching or navigating bias?
Well, I mean, that's again, it's something which in from my perspective personally, that it's I've been born and bred into this world. I mean, Northern Europe, whether you're speaking about England, London, England, or you're speaking about Copenhagen, or you're speaking about Germany, or Holland, or Sweden, or Finland, or wherever you want to go,
Let's
same,
say, hey,
same, you know.
Denmark.
Yeah, but my point is that when you're, I mean, the Danes are they're Northern Europeans. They're just the same as the Brits. They have this thing that says that we are white and we are the majority and we are in control. So constantly you talk about code switching. Do I have to behave differently in order to survive there? And when you're like me, I'm 2 meters tall and I'm black, I can't change. So I'm not changing. I can't change. I mean, it's not like I can suddenly put a cloak on and suddenly be a shorter guy or a guy which is lighter. I am what I am. And I am fully aware that there are a lot of people straight away who will not like me. I understand. 20%, I say always, 20% will not like you straight away, 20% will like you straight away. And there's 60% in the middle where you can actually oscillate between maybe the way you speak. They'll give you the opportunity to speak. They'll give you the opportunity to say your piece, and then that's it. But I mean, I've born and bred of this. I don't do that. I don't care. I mean, so I understand that there's a lot of people who are feel as though that they have to code shift, and they have to deal with becoming something else because they can. I can't. So therefore, it's kind of easy. And I always think back to my parents and thinking that they always said to us is that if you be yourself, you'll be comfortable everywhere. And that's all I can be
Yeah.
because quote unquote everybody else is taken.
Yeah. So can you share a moment where you had to stand firm in your identity, saying that this is who I am? Like
Well,
that's how it is.
I don't think that there's any moment. I mean, because of course, is I am what I am. I mean, people constantly use the thing about not seeing color. I've never heard a black person say that. It's only a person who's not black that says they don't see color, or brown person. It's only people who are not black or brown who say that, and it's only when they're in this part of the world. Because if you go to sub-Saharan Africa or Jamaica, where my parents come from, my forefathers are from, then there are people from all different parts of the world who consider themselves to be Jamaican. I mean, and that's okay. So when you're talking about standing firm, I don't know. I don't have to defend who I am. I'm sorry to say. It's like, I constantly, I lost my father recently. So I'm always thinking about my parents, thinking that in Jamaican, they've got, or Patois, they've got many sayings what I talk about. Like, you don't take back your talk. You speak your truth and you don't have to say anything. I mean, just your mere presence is making everybody understand that you are there. So I can give you an example. But yesterday, I went for a walk with one of my friends, and I live up north, and we walked around, and he said to me, "It's like you know everybody." I said, "No, no, 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 no." But the normal thing for me is you meet people on the street, we're doing an evening walk through the forest, you greet them. That's the
Hmm.
thing. So why should I change? Because maybe 50% of them don't respond. But the 50% who do respond, then happy days. And he's not used to that. He's not used to somebody like me commanding the space in an area where I'm not from there, but I've lived there a long time.
Yeah.
Lived there a long time. So I think that I'm in peace. I'm at peace here. I've got kids. I mean, what can I say? I don't have to pretend to be someone else, if that makes sense. I mean, of course, I understand that there are people because of different upbringing, because of different backgrounds, because of different challenges, and because it's different. I mean, I didn't grow up looking with people who look like me, if that
No.
makes sense. Of course, I grew up with my parents, and I grew up with understanding that we were a minority. But there's many people, if you grew up like yourself, perhaps, who grew up in Ghana or in Nigeria or in the Caribbean, even that you were the majority. I didn't grow up like that. I grew up being the minority. So I understand what it's like to be a minority, and I'm not complaining about it. I just get on with it.
Yeah.
I'm not begging you to like me. You don't have to like me. If you don't like me, c'est la vie. It's all is good. Move on. There's more than enough people who do like you
But
or like
also,
me and like you.
I would think there's also like advantages of growing up in a multicultural society.
Well, yeah, but of course, is that you understand. It's like there's my Danish friends always say to me that you're exotic in Denmark, and I start to laugh. I mean, I always say to myself, exotic. What does that mean, exotic? Basically, it's like who I'm not an entertainer. I'm not here to be the person who's going to be making jokes or the person who's going to be on stage singing or on the dance floor dancing. That's not my role. I'm not here to entertain. I am what I am, and I cannot change what I am. And because of that solidness, that solid foundation of knowing who you are, makes life or navigating life much easier. And also knowing that people won't like you. I mean, they don't know you, but they won't like you. And I've grown up with it. And so what?
Yeah. Yeah. So let's get into representation and mentorship and why it matters. As like the Brotherhood professionals of color, mentorship is one of your big missions. Tell us, what does the hard mission for the organization?
Well, we have three cornerstones. One of them is talent retention,
Mhm.
because we feel as though there's a lot of talent in Denmark, which is, they call it, there's a whole hashtag going around now called the forgotten gold. And there's a lot of people who don't look like you and I who are speaking about there's a problem in Denmark, blah, blah, blah. But there's not many people who look like you and I who are using this hashtag. So one of them is talent retention. The second is health. And when we talk about health, we're talking about there's certain things. And one of the things that we did a event last, I would say it was November, yeah, for November, talking about prostate cancer. And most people don't realise that 1 in 4 black males over the age of 50 tend to have prostate cancer. It's the biggest killer for black males in the West, but people don't speak about that. Our next event in April, end of April, 25th, we have a psychologist coming in, Anna Clara. We're really looking forward to her, speaking about mental health and well-being. But if you were to talk about mentoring, we started a mentoring program. I think I'm going to guess, I can't say, I think it's 6 cohorts out there now where the mentor, mentee are out there and they're actually going through their process. And it's very important for us to say that we are members of this society and we have something to offer to this society. And people, again, who don't look like you and I can be also be mentors and help people who look like you and I into how do you navigate work culture? How do you navigate microaggressions? How do you deal with things like, for example, promotions, being overlooked for promotion? How do you, and keep going, how? So there are people who have experience. I mean, I've been a mentor for something called Vereniging New Dexter all the way back from 2010, so where I was helping, and it sounds really strange, foreigners who came to Denmark, so migrants, into how they could actually get work into Denmark. Voluntary, I did that. So I don't work with BPOC and I stopped working with Vereniging New Dexter in 2019, but I've been a mentor where I've helped people, and today I navigate in a different space.
So
I've elevated my game.
what are the brothers saying? How has it been for them navigating the workplaces in Denmark?
It varies. I mean, this is one thing which I find very interesting with your question, that there's so many people who think that one brush fits everybody. That brothers, we're all different, just like all women are different and all people are different. Everyone is unique, just like a fingerprint. So some people find it really, 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 really difficult to understand how to navigate through the systems, and other people just like duck to water. They straight away they can swim. So it depends. The ones who are struggling, then we provide a space where they can get help.
Yeah.
And
what kind of spaces?
We have a sense of community where you can actually speak up. We create psychologically safe spaces during our meetups where people can speak, and talk to other people and network and find out. And if you have, we always try and provide them the space where it says that if you're having any trouble or or you have something to speak to, then you can reach out to myself, Joseph, some of the other board members, and talk to us.
So the Brotherhood is there to support.
100% support. 100% support. We are not a pity party. We're not feeling sorry for ourselves.
A real
We're not
brotherhood. That's what we are talking
proper,
about.
proper.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
well, very much so. And we can be vulnerable with each other, and we can shed tears where necessary, and we can criticize what's going on in society. But the bottom line of it is, it's up to us to say that how can we stand strong and provide support for one another when we're going through tough times.
Like yesterday, I heard on the news, like the Danish government is looking to attract international workforces to come to Denmark and work. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think there's a lot of people in Denmark who are already here, back to the forgotten gold. So maybe they should look at how they could integrate the people who are already here before bringing other people here, because all you're doing is what they call in America kicking the can down the road. You're saying the same problems you're facing today, you'll be facing in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. So there is a problem. I mean, I speak, and now I'm speaking from my own personal
Yeah.
self. I'm not speaking on behalf of the Brotherhood when I say that Denmark has struggled for a long time to let people who don't are not part of the homogeneous society into these conversations. They've really struggled, and they need to let people in who are not from political parties, who are not from communes, people who have got lived experience of what it's like to be a migrant, an immigrant, Anangi, or whatever they want to call you, into that space. They need to have those. Until they have that, nothing can change. Nothing will change. It'll be the same thing. And you're a woman, and as a woman, then you can understand that if a man is telling you constantly how you should behave, at some stage you'll start saying to yourself, but what do you know about being a woman?
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes when it comes to this conversation around immigration, then sometimes it'd be a good time to speak to people who are immigrants about this conversation,
But
about
do you think
what
that
we can do
they
and
are
what we can
open
have.
to having these discussions?
Well, the thing is, like I said, is that it doesn't matter if they're open to it or not, because the thing is that if you don't allow us in, you'll keep making the same mistakes you'll be making year after year after year after year. I
But they
mean,
should be
it
ready
will
to
keep
talk
happening.
about it, or
Yeah,
else
but again,
nothing's going to change.
do you want change? That's the first question. Because of course, if you look at, I mean, I use my experience from the UK and say that in England you've got a whole demographic of people who are quote unquote, which are called working class people, and they struggle just as much as anybody else who is an immigrant, but they're not united. And if they were united and said that, okay, we are having the same struggle, what they do is blame. So working class people blame immigrants for taking their jobs. They
Mm.
don't understand they're in the same position. And post Brexit, I mean, you can see that the same jobs which you thought immigrants were taking, you, indigenous person, doesn't want to work in those workplaces. You don't want to do. So, and it will happen in Denmark as well. The same thing will happen. It's not it's not rocket science, it's just basics. Just have to step back and look and say, okay, well, this is going to happen. So they can choose. I mean, you say that they should allow us in, but do they really want change? That's the question. That should be the question. And if
Yeah,
you
they
want
should be ready
change,
for it.
well, Einstein had this saying, or he's accredited with this saying, that says you cannot um, change with the same level of thinking. Which you can't change a problem with this, or solve a problem with the same level of thinking which created the problem. And it's hard for a nation who do a lot of things right to admit that they're wrong, to admit that they've done things wrong. It's hard. It is hard. I mean, it's very, very hard. And if you can't admit that you're wrong, then you'll continue to perpetuate the same behavior over and over and over again until you acknowledge, okay, we need help. And if you can't, if the narrative is that you should be happy to be here, you don't have anything to say, you should just be happy to be here. Well, fine, great. We'll just keep watching. No, we'll keep watching, but we could help as well
Yeah.
if you allow us to help.
So what's the mindset shift you've helped someone make that you are most proud of?
For me, it would then be back to, it would not necessarily be around, again, this is a personal thing, not speaking about brotherhood. Then it would be around the coaching. When if I'm in a position when I do my executive coaching, leadership development, and I'm speaking to a leader who doesn't understand why certain members of his team who come from other parts of the world don't speak up. He doesn't understand, or she doesn't understand, why they don't contribute in the way that they could contribute, or they struggle to understand that not everybody wants to be in the office between 9 and 5. Some people want to work in the office or don't work in the office. They want to work from home between 8 and 4 in the morning. There's different types of people, but to make leaders understand that we are all different, to question their thoughts and their beliefs in a very gentle way, not really confrontational way, then that's the biggest changes. Because I know that their staff members then can see it changing them. And that means that they can get more out of their team, which means it's more productivity, which means that there's more resources for the company. Everybody wins, it's a win-win. So I think those are the things which make the biggest steps for me. And from the Brotherhood, then this is a bit far out, but just to say that I recently went to an event. I'm going to say it was last November, and I sat next to a woman who had a husband who came from Ethiopia, and I told her about the Brotherhood and told her about you should sign up and you should join. And then he came to his first event in January at DFDS, and he explained who he was and what he wanted. And then at our last event at Microsoft a few weeks ago, he told me that he got a job at DFDS. Yeah, so that's when I'm really proud. I think that he met somebody from the Brotherhood who then helped him to get in front of the hiring manager. He'd been through the interview process and he got the job. That's when I think I'm proud. That's what we're proud. Exactly. That's when the Brotherhood works.
Yeah. Let's have like a real talk around table. All right, imagine this. You get to host a Brotherhood Professionals of Color roundtable dinner and invite 3 professionals of color, alive or dead. Who's coming and why?
Oh, wow, that's an interesting question. And yeah, I'm speaking from I'm the VP, so I'm saying from me, I'll invite my childhood hero, who's Muhammad Ali. I'll invite him because I think to myself is that he was somebody who decided to sacrifice everything based on his beliefs. So I'd invite him. I would invite Nelson Mandela as well, because I think that he is another one who was willing to sacrifice everything for his beliefs. And also, I don't know if there's lots of rumors about what happened to him in prison, but I was always fascinated that he didn't come out angry. He was very, very balanced. After 26 years in prison, for standing up for his beliefs, he was very, very balanced. And the last person I would invite would be Maya Angelou, who I call my godmother or grandmother of literacy. She's got so many stories and she's so dignified and she's got so much understanding. There's a great story about her, the first time she met Tupac Shakur, the rapper, and she's got no idea have you heard the story?
No.
No, yeah, she met him on the scene for, I think it was called Poetic Justice with Janet Jackson, a film that Tupac was in, and he was cursing. And she went up to him and said to him, "Young man, why are you doing this? Why are you cursing? What are you doing?" And he humbled himself because that's what we do when we're speaking to elders.
Yeah.
But she had no idea who he was. But for her, it's like she's a dignified woman, and this is not the way you behave around here. So yeah, they're the 3 people: Muhammad Ali, Nelson Mandela, and Maya Angelou, and they're all gone, unfortunately.
That's an interesting roundtable. I think that's the roundtable that also would like to see it. It's very so. Let's.
You're welcome. You're very welcome. Yeah.
What is like building a movement like Brotherhood Professionals of Color in a space that's historically homogeneous?
Yeah, but I don't think we look at it like that. We look at it as the fact is that what we do is we provide all the things you mentioned before. We provide a space where people can connect. It's a diverse space. It's inclusive. It's safe. And then other people speak about it. They spread the word. It's not us. I mean, we've got a fantastic comms team. We've got a fantastic fundraising team. We've got a fantastic finance team. We're some good people who are driving this. And we think that if we provide a good space, I mean, all is voluntary. We don't get not even 1 kroner. We haven't got 1 kroner of
You
funding.
believe in the mission.
Yeah, but it's more about it's again is that I always think again back to my parents. I keep bringing them up, but it is always about them. That's we were brought up, my sisters and I, with the fact is that if you have the skills, it's your duty, it's your obligation to help others.
Yeah.
And then I thank Joseph for allowing me the platform to actually help and give back. You
Yeah.
know, there's not an ego thing for me to think that I'm better or blah blah blah. But I've seen things, I've navigated things that many people haven't. I've been inside rooms that many people haven't been inside. I'm still involved in discussions and tables and dinners and things where most people who look like you and I are not involved in. And I've been doing it for many, 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 many years. So it's all I'm doing is explaining that it is possible. I'm just saying it is possible.
What are the barriers that you didn't expect? They were just there, but were not expecting them at all.
One of the biggest shocks for me was the fact of getting a bank account. That took some time, and it was actually it was a bit funny to think that it was difficult for a forening, as they call it in Danish, an NGO as we call it, to get a bank account. But that's all sorted out now. But yeah, I was surprised. But it was a lot of paperwork, a lot of questions, and yeah.
Okay, so let's move on. Mini scenario. Imagine you are walking into a boardroom where no one looks like you, but you are leading the strategy. What's your mindset?
Been there, done it many times before, so no problems. Here I am. I'm not too proud. I'm not too proud to say that I can make tea or coffee for whoever. So it's always you meet people with eye level. I mean, I'm a very humble guy. I'm not flashy in any way whatsoever. Never have been, never will be. My ego is in place, ego knowing that I do understand the skill and gifts that I have, but I know that I don't have to blurt them out.
Yeah.
So it's like the clue when we're leading any form of a strategy meeting, it's about doing what anybody else who has a similar skill set will do, is allowing everybody in the room to have a voice, to have everybody, everybody who is being deemed worthy of a space at the table, time to speak and to show their worth. Give space,
Yeah,
give
that's
space,
great.
give thanks.
Yeah. So let's have some fire rapid round. Let's have some fun with some fun, quick questions that I will ask you. Power moves only round. Like, what's one book every professional of color should read and why?
That's a good one. There's too many books. I don't think I've got any one. If the one that came to my head straight away was because I mentioned Mandela before, was A Long Walk to Freedom. But there's many. I'll suggest always is that wherever possible to go into history. Don't ever think life is not just what you see. It comes from somewhere. So coming from Jamaican roots, and I know it's supposed to be a quick question, but look at the fact of what's happened in the past, because again, like my American friends say all the time, it's not our first rodeo. It's not the first time we've been here. It's happened before, and it may happen again. But just understand the movements of why. Anyway, I won't go on. I won't expand. Long Walk to Freedom, Nelson Mandela.
Yeah. So most underrated leadership trait.
Underrated. I will guess kindness.
Okay.
Kindness. People think kindness is weakness. It's not weakness. It's a way of being empathic, inclusive, etc., etc., etc.
So what's your dream collaboration with Brotherhood professionals of color? What will be collaboration?
Yeah, dream collaboration. That's a difficult one because I'm speaking on behalf of the brothers, and I don't think that I can say what their dream will be. Everything that I mean, right now, I guess it will be. I don't know. I mean, I guess it'll be something economic because for them they'll think about like how if we had more money, we could do different events, we do bigger events. So maybe one of the big foundations, Nordea Foundation, gave us 500,000. What would we do? would we employ people, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know. I mean, I'm speaking, I can't, it's very difficult to speak on behalf of them. For me, it's, I think that we live our dream every day. I mean, our next event's at Templify. We've been already this year, we've been at DFDS, we've been at Microsoft, we've been at Nordea, we're going to be at Baxter Bank in May. We're living our dream. You know, we've got some good people out there. You know,
And that's good. So what's your hype song before the
hype
meeting?
song.
A song?
Oh, again, it's like, I don't think we have one, but if it was, then Nas, I know you can. I mean, that's the one I used to tell my kids all the time. You could be anything you want, you know. And everybody says, you can't tell kids they could be anything they want. But I did, and I told my kids not if for any other reason, is because I knew they were clever. You
Yeah,
know?
that's great. So
Yeah.
final reflections, building the brotherhood. As we wrap up, what's one thing you want listeners to know about building a community as a founder of, as a vice president of professionals, Brotherhood Professionals of Color?
Well, first of all, I'll say go to bpoc.dk, bpoc.dk, and join, become a member. Find us on LinkedIn and follow us. And speak. I think everything is about, for me anyway, speaking on, again, I don't like to speak on behalf of the other board members, but for me, it's about be yourself. You know, we are an authentic organization with lots of integrity. We try our best to do what's best for our members. We're going to make mistakes, that's for sure. And we're going to screw up. But when we do, we'll own it and say, sorry, what can we do? How can we move on? You know? But so far, so good. I mean, 99.9% of the spaces we've been in have said we can come back. So we're doing something right.
Yeah.
And we're not there to offend anybody. We're not excluding anybody, because the people have got this misconception that when you talk about colour, they think you're only speaking about black people and or brown people. And no, white is also a colour, and you're also welcome. That you have to understand that you're coming on our territory, and we're talking about things which affect us. We're not saying that you're not welcome, because that's not true. Far from it. We've been lucky. I mean, we've had the Shalov, who's the CPO, the chief people officer at Nordea, make a keynote for us. We've had Meta, who's the CEO, MD, managing director at Microsoft, make a keynote for us. They're welcome. We're not saying that it's just we're excluding anybody. It's very inclusive. So create inclusive spaces. Do not be afraid to speak your truth. I mean, it doesn't mean the truth for everybody, and understand that a lot of people will not like you. Because whenever you do something, there'll be other people who don't like it. So just deal with it.
And if they are feeling uncertain about the group,
if they feel uncertain, then come along to a meeting. I mean, reach out to me, come along to a meeting and see it for yourself. You know, really. I mean, there's things which, as humans, I mean, of course, I mean, it sounds always speak about introvert, extrovert, A Menska, B Menska. But if you're an introvert and you're shy and you're not used to be around people who look a little bit different, you try it. See, come out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
If you feel as though you can always meet me. I mean, I think majority of the people who come to the meeting for the first time, then once you say hello to myself or to the other board members, we all very, very openly introduce to other people.
Yeah.
So it's all good. And we've also, to say this, is that we've got ProWOC, Professional Women of Colour. They have been a massive, massive, massive support for us, I can say. And all their members, I mean, they are, I can't even explain. I mean, as a man, a boy who was raised with women, with two sisters, I didn't grow up with brothers. So they are my sisters. I love them dearly. I love them. I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud of what they're doing. And yeah, our collaborations together are magical. Magical.
So final question. If listeners only take one thing away from this conversation, what should it be?
Very good question. Only taking one thing away from this conversation will be yourself wherever you decide to put your body. Do not try and, I mean, it's easy to say you shouldn't code shift. It's easy to say that you shouldn't become somewhere else, but it's exhausting. So try to be yourself wherever necessary And if in doubt, hire a coach like me and I'll help you to navigate.
That's great. So, what an incredible conversation, I must say, Stephen. Huge thanks to our guest, Stephen Burrell, for reminding us what the power of community is and community as a strategy. To our listeners, if your today's episode moved you, challenged you, or made you feel seen, do us a favor. Subscribe, share this episode, and leave us a review. Help us amplify the voices of diverse founders everywhere. Tell your friends to tell their friends so we can all be friends. Diverse Founders Network. Diverse minds, one vision for success. That's what we do.
Thanks for watching the Diverse Founders Network podcast. Next episode is about inclusive learning strategies and neurodivergent leadership with Naomi Folb, a founder and Access Archer.